Hi everyone, welcome back to our video series on creating our veneer designs, our surface enhancement unit for the cabinet projects. In the last video, I showed you how to use the combine tool to make sure that we weren't having overlapping bodies for our design, and I showed you how to apply materials and change the texture mapping around again for our parquetry design. This video is going to show you how to create a realistic rendering of our tabletop design so that we can make a decision of a more informed decision of what our top is going to look like. So we've been in the rendering area before. We're going to go back to there. It's going to be pretty easy to set up because we've already got our top kind of set to the home position. But what you're going to do is you're just going to arrange it how you would want to see it in a picture, because we are basically framing a picture. So you could look at it right from the top if you wanted to. I like to get a little bit of a 3D effect on it when I'm doing a rendering, but I mean, it's totally up to you. So this one, actually, I might just do straight on to see how it looks. So in here, we can play around with lighting settings and a whole bunch of things, but we don't really need to know it too much. Like, we could set up our scene and we could actually put this in the shop if we wanted to, like, take a picture of the shop and put it in there. We could play around with lighting and the focal point and exposure and all that. But honestly, it's not important for this class. So that's more of a design class thing. For us, we're just going to do an in-canvas render. So the important thing is, once you start an in-canvas render, you have to just leave your design alone. If you move it, it's going to restart the render again. So I'm going to go a little bit further out. You know what? Am I going to do a render from this angle? No, I just need to commit to it. Okay, so I'm just going to hit play on here. And what this is going to do is it's just basically going to play around with like how light reflects off of the object, and it's going to run the simulation over and over and over again. And the more times it runs that simulation, the more accurately it can represent what this would look like as an actual object. So you'll see on the bottom here, it's saying elapsed times and the number of iterations. So it's basically run this 12 times, and the more it runs it, the more kind of clear and refined of a picture we're going to get from it. So I will let this run through. Now we can go from excellent, we can go to final. The only thing that's going to change is the number of iterations that we get from it, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. For the sake of this video, we'll probably just leave it at excellent, and I'll show you how to save it. You'll notice that it pauses when you hit excellent. I could hit play again, and it's going to keep running simulations. Or I could click and drag. Oh, I need to click and drag where I want that stopping point to be. But honestly, I can pause it at any point, and I'm happy with this as far as showing you how to create a render. At this point, I can capture an image. I'm just going to say my current window size because I can crop it later. I don't need to worry about that. And I'll hit OK. It's going to save as a PNG, and it's going to want to save it to my computer, but I want to save it to the cloud as well. And I'm going to do a diamond match with, oh, it's not going to want that character, so I'm going to go diamond match with lowest cube inlay. So it's this descriptive name that allows me to understand exactly what I'm getting from that. From here, I'll just show you what happens if you move it while it's rendering. You'll see it's just going to pop out of that rendering environment, and it's just going to start the render right over again. But it'll allow you to see what it would look like from a different angle, right? Which is kind of cool as well. So you can play around with that, but I would hope that you would create a rendering of your top. You might want to change the species that you're using and run a different rendering, but this is a great way of you playing with different species that we have in the shop to make an informed decision of what you're going to create for your final project. So I'm going to hit stop here. I'm going to go back to our design environment. And we will see if I open up the data panel here. We're going to refresh it. And I have got that image in there. Okay. At this point, we're pretty much done our model. We've finished our rendering. At this point, am happy to show you how to create a blueprint of it. The way that you might have done this is you might have already created a sketch of it already, but if you haven't created a sketch of it already and you haven't figured out the exact sizes, sometimes it's nice to be able to create a blueprint to bring into the shop to aid you with that. So in the next video, I will show you how to start creating the blueprint for this project.